Good morning, everyone. So I'm just trying to explaining about what is our today's concept and what we're going to learn, and we'll see about how practically that we are going to create it the VPCs. So that is a concept that we'll be discussing about like in today's session. I told you already, it is one of the most interesting and the most important topic that DevOps engineers need to aware about networking things inside the cloud. So if we go to that AWS, if we go to that Azure, and if we go to that any cloud, definitely we just need to understand about like how we can able to create it, the network. In that we should understanding about like what is public subnets, what is private subnets, and what is internet gateway, what is routing table, and what is the networking endpoints. Those things that's the very important that we should understanding about like how we have to go there. So fine, I'm just trying to first talk about the what is mean by VPC, and after that we'll be discussing about why the VPC is required. Those concepts that we'll be discussing about the right now. Okay. So fine, the first we should understanding about like what is exactly mean by VPC here. So whenever we talk about something, it is called as a VPC. The VPC stands for the what we can say about the virtual, and we can say about the private, the cloud. That is what we should understanding about like what is exactly mean by the VPC here. So why we have to create the VPC? See, last session that you guys know that how to create EC2 instances. So whenever you are trying to creating EC2 instances, you see that there is something it is called as a default VPC that you have selected to create the instances, right? When you try to creating EC2 instance, it's going to ask you about like VPC. It is going to ask you about like subnets. So these two things will define whom you are trying to giving access and what kind of level of security that you are providing to your server. That's what exactly that we are trying to discussing about in this particular thing right now. So whenever we talk about something, it is called the VPC. It's nothing but like virtual private cloud. Why we this particular the VPC is required means, see, whenever we talk about this particular VPC, it is nothing but like a virtual networking import environment that it is going to allow you to launch the AWS resources. See, whenever you're trying to launching the EC2 instances, whenever you're launching the databases, whenever you're launching the Lambda functions, whatever that you're trying to creating any instance, any resources that you're launching, like you're launching the load balancers, you are creating auto scaling groups. So whatever you do in the AWS, everything we have to create, and we have to do it in a logical, logical isolated secure environment. So we should know about like how we can able to protect your servers. We should know how to protect your database servers. We should know how to protect your load balances. Everything has to be, everything has to be protected or, security. That's important point that we should understanding about like why we had to go for this option name. It is called as a VPC right now. So whenever we talk about this particular the VPC, as I mentioned about like it is AWS, and it is nothing but like the virtual the network. See, we discuss about like whenever we talk about the cloud, all this nothing but like remote services or virtual services. We can't able to see physically, but everything it is got logically and isolated environment that you are trying to creating, and you are trying to creating all the resources whatever that we require. It's nothing but like virtual networking and go for the environment. And I mean to say, which is going to that's what we can say that yeah, that's allow you to launch AWS resources, and it is going to launch the EC2 instances, and it is we can whenever you want to launch the RDS instances, whenever you want to create it, the load balances, so and whenever you want to create it, the auto scaling. So all these resources, I mean to say, yeah, all these resources we have to keep it in a we have to keep it in a secure environment. Yeah. This is something that we should understanding about like how we are trying to keep these resources in secure environment. So because if we are trying to creating any servers in a public network, the hackers can able to hack your servers and they can theft the data, whatever that required. So they can able to provide, they can able to do SQL injections, they can able to provide the miscellaneous code that they can inject and they can run, server and they can take the data, whatever they required. So we don't want to encourage such kind of things. That's the reasons we should understand that how we can able to protect your servers, whatever that we are trying to creating right now. So the AWS is basically is nothing but like, it is nothing but like a cloud platform. So whenever we talk about the cloud platform, it's nothing but like it has different data centers in different regions. So whenever we talk about the region, it's nothing but like you have a data center, right? So the best example to understanding about like VPCs, let's for example, you have a apartment, right? So now this apartment has let's assume that we have 4 floors are there. In each and every floor there is 10 rooms are there. That means 40 rooms are there in this apartment. But you are not going to stay in the whole apartment, right? You need one particular flat where you are going to stay with your family. Let's say, for example, I decide to stay with flat number 202 or flat number 210 or 301 or 310. So whichever it is suits for your requirement, and you're going there and you're gonna stay in this particular flat. The same here. This apartment, whatever that we have, this apartment it is going to be yeah. This apartment it is going to be represent as yep. This apartment, whatever that we have, this apartment is basically we are going to ask you about like, what we can say about like it represent the data center. In the data centers, we don't need all the servers. You need this particular isolated environment. Nothing but like, you're going to stay in a particular flat. So with your family. So whatever that you're going to do it, everything that you're doing within this particular apartment, right? The same thing that we're going to do it with help of this particular the option name it is called as something it is called as a the is it instances right now. So we are trying to creating one isolated environment in the cloud that is nothing but like a particular apartment in that you are going to stay in a particular room. The same thing that we are trying to understand here. So the apartment represent the what we can call it as a data center. In the data center, you required small portion where we required to manage all your servers. That is where we should understanding about like what is exactly meant by the VPC here. So whenever we talk about the VPC, it is nothing but like logical isolation of your resources so that others cannot able to touch your resources, whatever that you're trying to creating. So whenever we talk about the resources, is nothing but like history instances or load balancers or auto scaling or RDS, whatever that you're trying to creating, everything that we are trying to go ahead and we are just trying to do all these things right now. So whenever we talk about something, it is called as the features of the VPC. The first we should understanding about like, the first feature it has something it is called as a logical isolations, right? So whenever we talk about the logical isolation, it is nothing but like, isolations from the other AWS customers. See, in these data centers, there are many customers are hosting their applications, right? Throughout the world. If you look at here, there are some n number of customers they're coming toward the cloud and they're hosting the applications. But I wanted to keep these particular servers secure, and I wanted to manage all my servers within my network. I don't wanted to manage all the servers whatever I creating in a different network. That is the reasons we had to go for the option name it is called as logical isolations. So when talk about the logical isolations, is nothing but like separate networking environment that we are trying to creating. Within that network environment, you are going to manage all your servers right now. This is what we can call as a logical isolated environment. We can just go for we can see about like the VPC provides logical yeah, the logical, we can just go for the isolation from we can see about like other customers. This is nothing but like I don't want it to meet with other customers. That's where we have to go for something it is called the logical isolations, right? So whenever we talk about something it is called the logical isolations is nothing but like, you wanted to manage all your resources in isolating environment from the other customers, right? That's where we should understanding about like what is exactly meant by logical isolations. See here, we can see that when we go for the other customers, we should understand that we should understand or we can ensuring that yeah, your resources, whatever that we have right now, the resources, whatever that we have, should or not accessible to the others. That is where how we can able to protect your servers. So what are the servers that you are trying to creating? You have to keep those servers, or you have to keep those the services has to be a very secure network. That's where we should understanding about like what is exactly mean by logical the isolation right now. And we can see about like there is something it is called as a customizable network. We can choose your IP address range. What is IP address range that we require, and how you wanted to manage all your IP addresses within whatever the server that you're trying to creating. So it is nothing but like we can just go there and we can say about like, the customizable, uh, we can say about like, networking. So whenever we talk about something, it is called the customizable networking, which is understanding about like, the VPCs is going to be allows you to the customers. Yeah, it is going to allows you to the customers, we can see that, allows you to customize your networking thing right now. Networking configurations here right now. This is something that we should understanding about like what is exactly meant by customizable network right now. So whenever we're trying to create in the VPCs, we can able to mention about like your specific IP address range, what we required for VPC and the public subnets, and we can create private subnets. For every subnet, we can create one networking range so that within that networking range, we can able to accommodate how many servers that we required. So, it is going to be allows you to customize your networking configurations, nothing but like, as mentioned about like including the IP address, yeah, including the IP addresses. And also we can say about like, IP address ranges. We can able to create the subnets. And also we can able to create the network access control list is nothing but like ALC. And also we have to control your what we can say about like, the control your resources. Whatever the resources that we are trying to creating, all the resources that we can able to control. That's what exactly that we should understanding about like what is exactly meant by customizable networking right now. So that the VPCs, it is going to be allows you to customize the networking configurations, which is nothing but like including the IP address range, including the subnets, networking control. We can see about like, the subnets, in everything that whatever that we required. So everything we can able to control the access. That's where we have to understanding about like the customizable networking right now. So here we can just go for something it is called security. So whenever we talk about something, it is called security. So this is where we have to focus more about it. So whenever you're trying to creating all the servers, how we can able to protect your servers from the hacker attacks or third party attacks. So somebody should not able to access your server outside the internet. So or should not be exposed the internet any services that you're trying to creating. See for that this VPC is going to playing a very major role right now. So here we can see that whenever you are trying to create in the VPC we have something it is called security features. What are the security features that we have right now means like if we just go to here, we can able to create something it is called security groups. In the security groups, we can able to block and we can able to decide the which traffic coming towards the application. That's nothing but like security groups. And there is something it is called as a the networking. We can say about like there is something it is called networking ACLs, which is nothing but like access control list. And after that, we should understanding about like, we have to go for the control access of your AWS resources. Uh, yeah, your AWS resources. This is what we should understanding about like what is exactly meant by security right now. So we have something it is called security groups, which is basically understanding about like what kind of security that we required and how we can able to protect your application from the hacker attacks, which traffic you wanted to route inside the inside your server. So everything that we can able to control over the security right now. This is where we had to understanding about like what is meant by security here. And there is a fourth point that we have something it is called the connectivity options. So what is exactly meant by the connectivity options that we have? So whenever we talk about something, it is called the connectivity options. We can see like, the VPC, it is basically provides, the VPCs basically provides what we can say about like connectivity. See the options right now. So whenever we talk about something, it is called the connectivity option. That means we have something it is called as a direct connect. And also we can see about like we can connect your VPC to your on-premises network. So there are different options that we have. Let's, for example, there is a concept called tunneling in the networking things. You will understanding about like going forward sessions, what is meant by tunneling. Let's say, for example, I have my on-premises GPU server, but my application is running on the Azure cloud, AWS cloud. Now I want to test these particular GPU AI models on a GPU. So for that, what we can do that we can do this particular tunneling from Azure cloud to its on-premises GPU so that we can able to test the models that whatever that you are trying to building it. That is where we should understanding about like why uh, this tunneling is very important for us. So we can see that there is something that is called the connectivity options, right? We have to go for the security. So we had to go with this option name. It is called the VPCs basically provide the security features, right? I mean, it's like it is going to provide the networking access control list and to control your resources. Whenever we talk about something, it is called connectivity options, which is basically is provide the VPN direct connected or you wanted to connect to the on-premises servers. So what exactly that we can able to do with help of the connectivity options that we have. This is the reasons why we had to go for something it is called as a VPC, nothing but like virtual private cloud that we have. So we discussed about like it is majorly focusing more on the security perspective. We should understanding about like how we can able to protect your servers from the hacker attacks. That's where we had to go for the security right now. We have three options here. We can see about like first one is logical isolations and the customizable networking, and we can go for the security and we can go for something it is called the connectivity options that we have. This is nothing but like we have we can see about like one, two, three, four options that we have. So now here, this is the reasons why we have to go for these options right now. See, what is the use cases when we have to use this particular VPC? Mean the first, say, whenever you're trying to deploying any resources or any applications, you're deploying the web application. So definitely we require the secure and scalable networking on the cloud resources. That is the reason we have to create a VPCs. I told you very clearly, whenever you want to launch or whenever you want to deploy any applications on the cloud, definitely we have to create a VPC. So without creating VPC, we can't able to secure or we can't able to we can't able to create any resources that whatever that we require. That is the reasons we required the secure connectivity. That is the reasons we had to go for something it is called as a VPC right now. This is where we should understanding about like what is exactly meant by VPC and how we can able to go for this option name it is called as a VPC right now. This is where we had to go for this options name it is called as a VPC right now. The first use case, whenever we talk about the use cases, the first use case is let's say now, yeah, if we just go for the use cases, the first thing that we should understanding about like, hosting the web applications, right? This is a very important point that we should understanding about like hosting applications. So this VPC is basically suitable for we can host the web applications with that require the secure and scalable networking environment. That's where we had to go for the first use case. And the second one is nothing but like whenever you are deploying the such very big applications, like you're deploying Flipkart applications or hosted applications or Amazon applications, whatever it may be, we can go for something it is called as the enterprise. Yeah, okay. So we had to go for something it is called the enterprise net workloads. So whenever we talk about something it is called the enterprise workloads, if we wanted to run such kind of applications, also we required something it is called as a VPC right now. So the VPC is basically suitable for running the enterprise workloads that require the high level of security. Yeah, that require the high level of security. And also we can see that, yeah, security. Yeah, it required the high level of security, and we required the control, right? So that is where we have to go for something. It is called as a enterprise, what we can say about like workloads. Now there is if we just go there, and third one we have to understanding about like whenever you want to build something, it is called as a hybrid architectures. So if we are trying to building the hybrid architectures also, definitely we require this particular the options right now. I mean to say the VPC can, yeah, we can see about like the VPC can able to what we can say that VPC can be used to build hybrid architectures or integrate with the on-premises networks. So whenever you wanted to integrate or whenever you wanted to perform the tunneling, say the current client, we have one client, they have the on-premise GPU server, but we are running all the workloads on Azure cloud. So we wanted to remove that cloud GPU. We want to run all the workloads on the on-premises GPU workloads. See, for that, what we can do that we are trying to make the connectivity and we are going to do the tunneling here. That is where we have to go for the hybrid architectures right now. So whenever we talk about the hybrid architectures, it's nothing but like you have to integrate, yeah, we have to integrate on premises, right? So let's go to here and we have to integrate it the on premises. Yep, we can just go for the on-premises networks. This is what exactly that we are going to do it whenever we talk about something, it is called as a the hybrid architectures right now. So we have to understanding about like what is an enterprise workloads and what is hybrid architectures. This is where we have to understanding about like what is the reasons we have to go for the VPC. So VPC is one of the most important we can say the concept in the any of the cloud. You take Azure, GCP, Oracle Cloud, you go to IBM Cloud, anything. Definitely, this particular is required. We can see that the first we should understanding about like the virtual private cloud and is it instances, and we can see about like the resources whatever that we are trying to creating, everything we have to create within the VPC. I hope this is clear, right? Anyone have any questions right now? So I got only one response. What about others? If you have any questions, you can unmute and ask the question so that I can clarify your questions.
How many VPC one organization can have? I mean, what is the strategy like
Tell me, what's your question? Come again.
for VPC? If you think like how many VPC my organization need, is it based on the management, security, domain, or like
It is not about like how many VPCs that required organizations. It is about the project. Every project has to create one VPC.
one
Within the
VPC? Okay,
VPC, you
okay,
have to deploy your applications.
got it.
Mm, yeah. Any other questions from anyone? I know who came late and putting no. I can understand. Okay. So the first, what I can do that, I just need to log into the AWS account. In VPC, we have the subnets, we have the internet gateways. So everything that you'll understanding about like one by one, you'll understand the difference between the public subnets and private subnets also. We can say the first we have to log into the AWS account first. Still, if anyone not created the account, please create the account. Yep. So if we just go to the menu here, in that we can see that there is an option here. We have the option name, it is called the networking. If we come down, we can see that networking and content delivery. And here we have the option name, it is called as a VPC right now. If we come down, we can see there is option name, it is called the VPC. Click on that VPC. Right now, if we go to the CR VPCs, right now you have only one VPC available. We can see this is a default VPC. Whatever the servers that you are creating, by default you are creating on the AWS provided the default VPC. But we have to create our own VPC here. So how we can able to create our own VPC here? The first we have to click on the create VPC. See, every VPC will have the unique IP address range. Okay, we can see that we had to provide the VPC name. See, the VPC name is not like a case sensitive. We can able to create whatever this VPC name that you required. If you just go there and we can see about like I can able to create the VPC. See, if you just go to the VPC and more, you don't need to create manual. Everything will create by automatically once you select everything. But we are in the very beginning stage, so let's go for the one by one. Remember that whatever that you are trying to creating, everything has to create by Terraform scripts. Okay. First, understand manually what are the options that we have, everything. Once you understood about very clearly about the options, everything, then we can able to go ahead and we can create by using the Terraform scripts. Yes, Sheikh.
Sorry, I was trying to log into the AWS account. If you don't mind, can you like start from the first, like how you came into like creating VPC?
You have the AWS account?
Yeah, I just created now. Yeah.
Okay. So just go to that menu here. So
Okay.
once we just go to the menu, in
Okay.
this the menu there is the option that we have name, it is called the network and content delivery. If we scroll down, we can see there is the option name, it is called the networking and content delivery here we have. So if you click on
Okay.
that,
Network and okay.
we
Yeah.
can see that there is option name, it is called the VPC.
VPC.
It,
Okay. Got
it is showing about isolated cloud
it.
resources.
Isolated cloud resource.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you click on
Okay.
that, you'll land in the
Hmm.
page of the home page of the VPCs. Now we can follow
Okay.
me. Okay. Now
Okay.
here,
Thank you.
there is an option name, it is called the click on the create a VPC. So once you click on the create a VPC, we can see that we have the option name, it is called as a VPC and VPC more. Click on the
And
VPC
more.
only. Now
Okay.
here, there's just given a definition here. A VPC is an isolated portion of AWS cloud populated by
Hmm.
the AWS objects such as Amazon instances. I only like it is nothing but isolated environment where you are trying to manage all your the resources, whatever that we need, right? So the first we should understanding about like what is the name. So the name it is like you wish like what you want to create the name. Let's for example, I'm trying to put the Clehen hyphen VPC hyphen test. This is nothing but like VPC which I'm just trying to giving all there. Now here we can see that there is something it is called the IP4 and IP6. In the beginning of the class, I explained about like what is exactly mean by IP4 and IP6. So whenever we talk about something, it is called IP4 is nothing but like Internet Protocol version 4, which is 32-bit long. And if I talk about something, it is called as IPv6 is nothing but like it is 128-bit long, right? So we know that like what exactly, and we have to do that. So I'm just trying to go for the IP4 CIDR manual input. So we have to choose the IP address range, right? In the beginning of the classes, I explained that where you can able to get the IP addresses, and because there is a one free IP addresses are available that we are going to use right now, but whenever you want to get the specific requirement or specific IP address, like you required the 162 series, if you required 151 series, if you required, let's for example, 181 series. So which series that you require depends on that. We had to go for the IP4 CIDR block here. The CIDR is nothing but like classless inter-domain routing. That's what we have to understanding about like what is exactly mean by CIDR. So this response is nothing but it is going to automatically assign the IP addresses. That's what exactly mean by CIDR, right? It is nothing but like classless inter-domain routing. So now we have an open source. We have free IP addresses available. So anyone can able to use this particular IP address. We can see that we have something it is called as a IP4 CIDR, which is nothing but like, I can provide the 10.0.0.0. So we can see it is nothing but like it is a 32-bit, right? So in each and every digit that we can able to accommodate it, the 8 bits. I mean to say like, 8 bits means you can able to get the 256 IP address right now. So when you go for 2-bit IP address, that means like, here we had to put the subnet mask value. So what is the maximum subnet mask value? The maximum subnet mask value is 32. So why it is 32 means like you can see that like, it is 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 is nothing but like 32. The same thing that we can able to do that. So whenever we talk about something, it is called as a 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus. The maximum subnet mask value is a 32. Right. So I'm just gonna mention about like 32 here. So 32, if we are mentioning about 32, nothing but 32 to the power of 32. You are going to get the value so that we can able to create that many IP addresses. Whenever I talk about like that many IP addresses, nothing but like that many servers that we can able to create it. Now we can see that whenever we talk about something, it is called as a here 16. We can see it's clearly telling about the CID block size must be between the 16 and 28, right? So whenever we talk about the 16 is nothing but like 2 to the power of 16. So you are going to get the 65,536, right? So whenever we are going to get the 65,536, that's with that many servers that we can able to create within the VPC. This subnet mask value it will define, it will decide how many IPs that we can able to create it, or how many IP addresses that we can able to sorry, how many servers that we can able to accommodate within the VPC. That's very, very important point that we have to understanding about like why we have to put the subnet mask value. Subnet mask value will define that how many IP addresses that we required. Say for example, my client required very small amount of the servers. We can see that we can able to put the 28. So when I mention about 28, nothing but 28 minus 32, you are going to get the, let's for example, 4, right? 2 to the power of 4, it is nothing but like the value of that many servers that we can able to create it. That is how we have to understanding about like, how we can decide that how many IP addresses that we required, right? We can just look at here. This is nothing but like we have how we can able to calculate, and we should understanding about like how we can able to make this particular instance we can able to create it, right? This is what exactly we should understanding about like what is meant by IP4 CIDR input. It defines what is IP address range, and also it defines that how many IP addresses that we required. So now we can see that I'll put the 16 right now. Now, once if we just come down, we can see that there is something it is called a tenancy here. So tenancy is nothing but like where we can run your server, where we can able to run your server. There are two options that we have. One is the default and one is a dedicated. I usually give this example. Let's say, for example, you are living in a metropolitan cities or any other countries. For example, you want to travel from the source to destination. So whenever you want to travel the source to destination, okay. Let's say, for example, I'm staying at Silk Board. I would just want to travel to the Maratali here. I can book Ola, Uber, right? See, when you're trying to book the Ola, Uber, we can see that there are two options that we can get it. One is Uber share or Ola share, right? Or Rapido share. Share means they're going to accommodate one more person along with you, and they are going to share the price between these two passengers. So if we go for the alone in a ride, you have to pay the whole ride cost. Let's, for example, they're offering for share is on 196 rupees. But if you go to alone, they'll charge 250 rupees for you from you. Like, that is how they're trying to business gonna work. The same thing when you go for tenancy, tenancy is very, very important. Tenancy is always defined where you want to run your server. You want to run on the dedicated hardware, or you want to run this particular CPUs on the dedicated hardware or shared hardware. Because whatever the servers that you are creating, everything that we are creating on the cloud, right? I mean to say, you're trying to creating all the servers on the data centers. When it select the region, that means there is a data center. And the data centers, we have the collection of servers are available. We can see this is one rack is available, and here we have another rack is available. In this particular dedicated rack, what I can do, I can able to create it the dedicated server what I need. So now here, this is nothing but like there are two options that we have. One is nothing but like dedicated. One is nothing, sorry, default and dedicated. Default means is nothing but like shared hardware. So they can able to accommodate others EC2 instances on the same hardware. That's what we should understand. Whenever we talk about this dedicated means like they will allocate dedicated hardware for you. They will not allow other customers to run their instances on the same hardware. So it is you have to bear the cost, whatever they're trying to accommodate it, right? So understand here, let's say what is tenancy. Yeah, we can see that. So when talk about something, it is called as a, oh, what you say? Yeah. See, tenancy in VPC is refers to the isolation of resources within the VPC, determining whether the instances launched within the VPC run on the hardware shared with other AWS accounts or dedicated hardware. So whenever you talk about something is called default, it is nothing but like shared hardware. They're going to charge, the price will be less. If you require the dedicated hardware for you, definitely they're going to dedicatedly create one hardware for you, and you have to manage the whole things. That is where we should understanding about like what are the options that we have. We can see that this is the option that we have right now. We have to provide the name, and we have to provide the IP for CIDR manual input is nothing but like my IP address range what we have given. And after that, if we come down, we can see about like there is a tenancy here right now. So let me know if anyone have any questions in the screen before I move on to the creative VPC.
No question, Murli, but I think you covered VPC subnets in one more session before. It's going to be different, is it?
I haven't taken any class on the VPC and subnets.
No, you have taken. If you like to.
That's fine, man. Listen,
No, no,
that's
no, that's okay. I'm just telling you. That's perfectly fine. Thank you.
yeah. Anyone have any other questions here? I'm telling many times, it's a very, very important. If you have any questions, please try to ask, understand what is this. If the silly questions are a bigger question, it doesn't matter about it. But I want you guys to understand completely these VPC topics. Yeah, I got three responses. I'm taking it is a so it is understood. So now what we can do, I'll just draw the architectures as per the architectures. I'll create infrastructures going forward, but now understand that what we have to do that. See, this diagrams you have to start writing your own, create the architectures based on that we can able to create it the, or we can able to create the resources whatever that we required. Let's say now here I'm just trying to creating the VPC. Um, yeah. Now click on this. Okay. Now here, the first thing what we have to do, we just need to understanding about like what exactly we had to do that where the VPCs got creating, right? So first we have to understanding about like first we had to go for the region. So whenever we can just see VPCs always resides within the region. You have to remember this point. So this is nothing but like my AWS region. See right now if you look at my screen, we are doing all these things. I mean to say we are doing all these things within the region, right? So here we can see that there is a region that we have something, it is called as a Mumbai, North Virginia. In this North Virginia, I'm doing all this creating a VPCs, everything. Now here, if we just go to the region, within the region, we are trying to creating a VPC. We can see that this is nothing but like my VPC. You are trying to creating this particular the VPC right now. Yep. Within the VPC, you have to create something, it is called subnets. So whenever we're trying to understanding about subnets, subnets is nothing but like, it is a segment, or we can say about like, the section of this particular, you want to create the small subnets where we had to make sure maintaining the different servers. Let's say, for example, you have the application servers. You have, let's for example, you have database servers. You have something, it is called as a there are different application servers, database servers, and you have web servers. So we have to understand that where we have to manage all the servers that whatever that we have. So that's where we have to understanding about like how we can able to do that, right? So whenever we talk about the subnet is nothing but like, it is nothing but like a segment, or it is, let's for example, I'll give you one good example. You have the one big hall, which is 100 square feet, okay? Inside that, what we have to do, I just wanted to create some other cabins. Like say, I want to create the one cabin for managers, one cabin for team leads. There is a development team and testing team. We have to separate the development team cabin and to separate the testing team cabin. So what we can do that we can able to partitions, right? We are going to create a partition. So we are trying to creating one partition for the software development team. We are creating another partition for the testing team. So we're going to create the partition for the different, what we can say about like, the different, depends on requirement. We're going to create different partitions. That is where we have to understanding about like what exactly and how we can able to do that. So the same thing, you have created a large network that is called as a VPC. Within the VPC, we had to accommodate web servers, application servers, database servers, load balancers, everything. So here in the subnets, there is public subnets and private subnets. So which you are, I'll tell you about like what is public and what is private. But remember, there's two kind of subnets that we have, public and private. Whenever you're trying to creating the public subnets, is nothing but like it should be exposed to the internet. When I'm talking about like private subnets, it not be exposed to the internet. Now here, the first understand the subnet here. Let's go to here. Understand about like what is exactly mean by this subnet. Yeah, what is a subnet in VPC? Yeah, you can see this is what exactly that we should understanding about like what is exactly VPC right now. So in AWS, we can see about like VPC stands for the Virtual Private Cloud. We can see that a subnet is the range of the IP addresses within the VPC that associated with the specific availability zones. See, subnets always, it is going to be resides within the availability zones. See, subnets are used to organize. resources within the VPC. That's the reason I'm talking about it. We can able to organize all the web servers in public subnets. We can able to organize all the application servers, database servers in the private subnets. So definitely without creating subnets, we can't able to create any resources. All the resources will be resides within the subnets only. First, we had to create a VPC. Within the VPC, we had to create a subnets. Within the subnets, we can able to create all the servers, whatever that we required, right? So we can see that the IP addresses within the VPC that associate with the specific availability zone here. See, subnets are used to organize the resources within your VPC. It is nothing but like allowing you to control the network access isolation resources. They can be either public with access to the internet or private without direct internet access here. We can see that. This is nothing but like you're trying to creating this particular VPCs, the subnets. These are the key aspects of why you are trying to creating the subnet. The first one is the IP address range. The subnet defines the range of the IP address that can be assigned to the resources and availability zones. The subnet must be located within the availability zone. Isolation, nothing but subnets provide the way to isolate resources. That means we can able to create the web servers in one isolated locations. We can able to create the database servers in one subnet. We can be able to create the application servers in one subnet. Everything that we can able to do that, right? So now here, let me show you about like how we can do that. See, each subnet will associate with the one route table. You have to remember that. I'll talk about like what is route table and all. First, let's focus on created the subnets. So where is the subnets available here? The subnets are available within the availability zones. Every region it is divided into the every region it is divided into the availability zone. Okay, we can see this is nothing but like my availability zones. We can see that we have the availability zone. Within the availability zone, what we can do that we are trying to creating a subnets. So every availability zone must associate with the one subnet. I'm not talking about public or private, but definitely every availability zone which contains a one subnet. We can see that if we go there, if you just type the subnet right now, this is nothing but like let's talk about the public subnet. Okay, I'm just trying to come on this. What the? Once again, yep. So let me go to that. Yep. This is a subnet right now. So we are trying to creating within this particular availability zone. I'm just trying to create a duplicate copy and drag into the here in this availability zone. Okay. This is what you are trying to creating now. See, if you just go there and I'm just trying to create the VPC first, click on the create a VPC. Within the VPC, what we have to create, we have to create a subnets. Right. First, let me go to the click on the create a subnets. Now we can see this many subnets are there. If we click on the refresh, by default, this many subnets are there. Now we have to click on the create a subnet. Now we can just provide the VPC ID. This is nothing but like web VPC. And this is nothing but like my IP address of the VPC. It's showing about like 10.0.0.0. And here we have to provide the subnet name, right? The subnet name, I can just go for the option name. It is called the client hyphen, go for the public hyphen subnet. This is nothing but like the subnet name, which I'm just trying to providing and in which availability zone that we have to create the VPC. We can see that. Now we have the availability zones it has. Let's see 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. See, every region will divide into the availability zones. Let's say, now I'm just trying to set in this particular availability zone. And here, if we come down, we can provide this is nothing but like my VPC CIDR. Don't change this one. So every subnet will get the different IP address series. Now, if we just go there, I'm trying to selecting with the 10 dot, 0 dot. We can see that 1 dot 0. And here I'm just gonna put something. It is called as a, yeah, we am just trying to putting something. It is called as a here 24 here. So what is the maximum subnet mask value? 32, right? 32 minus 24, you're gonna get the 8, right? So you are gonna get the 8 is nothing but 2 to the power of 8. You're gonna get 256 IP addresses. So depends on that how many IP addresses that we required. So we are trying to creating this particular IP of 4 subnets here. And after that, what we can do that we are just trying to creating the subnet right now. So let's see here. This is what exactly that we are trying to talk about it. This is nothing but like my VPC ID. And we can see about like we are going to provide the IP4 CIDR block. And after that, this is nothing but like what is the subnet name. And we have to select the availability zone. And after that, we have to provide the what is IPPC CIDR. And this is separately you are creating the Spectre subnet, right? So whenever you are trying to creating any server within this subnet, the private IP address of the server it is going to allocating based on the range of the IP address what you are trying to providing over there. Now click on the create a subnet. This is how the subnets is trying to creating within the VPC. So I think it is clear, right? Anyone have any questions right now?
CIDR block
Um,
is 16. Why is just 16?
Did you attend the IP addresses classes in the beginning?
Yeah, yeah.
I explained very clearly what is CIDR, how we are going to get the 16, or
Oh,
what
okay.
is the maximum subnet
I'll
mask,
go.
everything. Any other questions from anyone? Shaikh, do you have any questions? Shaikh,
no, I did not see go through those previous classes, so I'll probably go
no,
through that first.
that's fine. You just
Yeah.
remember that when I'm
Uh-huh.
just trying to provide the 10.0.0, and
Hmm.
here we can see that if I'm going to provide this, this is what we can call the subnet mask value. Okay. So in each and every digit, we can accommodate the 8 bits, nothing but like 2 to the power of 20, 2 to the power of 8. 8
Yeah.
plus, we can see 8 plus. Its IP4 address is 32-bit long, okay? And right now, what you're talking about, like IP4. So here it
Hmm.
is 8 plus 8. If you calculated the sum of this digits, you're going to get 32 right now. So the maximum subnet mask values for IP4 is a 32. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you're going to calculate it, we can see that if you're going to calculate it, 2 to the power of 32. This is the value that you're going to get. These many IP addresses that we can able to create within this particular VPC. That is the meaning of this particular subnet mask value. If you're going to provide the 16 here, that means 32 minus 16, you are going to get the 16 right now. So if you just go there, if I'm just trying to talk about the 16, now once you hit the enter, you can see that 65,536 IP addresses that we can able to create within the VPC here. That means 65,536 servers that we can able to create. You getting my point?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's the meaning of these options.
Okay. Understood.
Any other questions here? Asha, do you have any questions? Asha, Harshit, and Eric, do you have any questions? I think Kinjal don't have. And Lonely, do you have any questions here? These guys are very smart. They're talking to the chat here. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Monday. Just get some idea about like what is VPC. See, whenever you are reading anything, please don't read anything from the YouTube or don't refer any other. videos. So try to first read the documentations. Let's say here, VPC. If you want to learn about the VPC, go to there, type VPC. There is a official documentation which providing by the AWS, docs.aws.amazon.com. If we click on this one, we can see that it is going to provide the complete overview of the, always try to read the official documentations so that you'll understanding about the pulse of the author. So you have to get the complete documentation from the actual documentation. Please go to that and read the documentations. And I'll be discussing about practical way. What is the reason that we are trying to creating subtypes? So there it will take another 3 to 4 classes to understand completely all the resources, whatever that we have within the VPC. But we'll just go for the step-by-step process. But please go to this understanding about like IP address, which were private cloud subnets. We can see that security, all these things. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.